I've told us to free our minds from this assumption that anybody in power is put in power by God. It's a wrong statement, it's a wrong assumption. There are people who were in power that were there against God's will. And there are still people who are in power today that God has no business with them being in power. People that God put in power, God gives wisdom for leadership. Wisdom for leadership. And one of the things you know is that these people will be blessed. People will bless them. Not everybody will like you as a leader, but at least the vast majority of people will see proof of the fact that you are a leader appointed by God. Our political systems today is plagued by praise singers. Political praise singers plague our current system. And one of the big problems we have in this country today is that this country is plagued by praise singers. They don't speak truth. They speak to the satisfactions of their paymasters. They don't tell the leaders what they should know. They tell the leaders what they want to hear. It is only until some of these leaders leave power that they realize that they were doing nothing. Because they are surrounded by people who will praise them into trouble. Your friends, you see them on social media. They know the truth, but because it is their political party, they will justify it. Some of them are not living well. It's one thing to say that they are working for the government and they are gaining. Some of them are not gaining. They are just like fans of the political party. And so they must argue in favor of the political party, irrespective of anything. They argue in favor of their tribe. They argue in favor of their religion. So the moment they view the government to be of their religion, they are defensive of any action of their tribe. They are defensive of every action. Of their political party, they are defensive of every action. And so these political praise singers are the major problem, because some political leaders, if they are told the truth, they will do what is right. But people keep telling them, you are okay, these guys hate you, don't mind them, ignore these people, do that. A young king went and sought counsel. People who should have told him the truth told him, hey, go and tell them that your fathers use just regular cane to flog you, but I'm coming to flog you with scorpion. And the foolish young man went, believing that that's exactly how it works. Many leaders are getting it wrong because of the kind of people that surround them. The Bible says, he that saith unto the wicked, thou art righteous, him shall the people curse, and nations shall abhor him. All these social media people who are there telling when wicked decisions are taken, they say it's correct. Curses are on them. It doesn't really matter whether it's your political party says my job. Your job, if you love your country, if you love your brother and your sister, you will not celebrate injustice that is made over them. Nobody who calls himself a true believer, I've seen many people, they are pastors, preachers, some of them, justifying the kind of things that go on, the kind of division, the kind of segregation, the kind of hate. Some of them are pushed by people who should never do that. And so, he that turns around and tells a wicked leader, or he that tells a wicked politician, he that tells a wicked judge, he that tells a wicked security agent that you are doing right, he said that kind of a person is cursed. The people will place a curse on him. And when we have a nation full of these kinds of people, it means we are people moving around with curses all over, and we are expecting to have a flourishing nation until we start telling ourselves the truth and let blessings rest on us. Then our nations become blessed. The land mass is already well endowed. We have crude, we have oil, we have resources, our plants grow well. We're not in a desert place. But why is it that we're not reaping from it? Because this land is being controlled by people who praise wickedness, who celebrate wickedness. Now, some persons are telling you they are literally hungry. Some people are on TV explaining to you why you are not hungry, why the government is doing well. What sense does it make? You have eaten, your fridge is full, you're working for the government, you're a speaker for the government. You're telling somebody on the street that is cry that there is hunger is not valid because you are eating. That the government is doing so well. You are cursed. You are cursed. Because you should have been very honest to tell the people of a truth. Look at how it is. In this country, we have been in this country, petrol has been 30 naira per liter before in this country, or even less. We have been in this country when naira was higher than the dollar. 1 naira was exchanged to several dollars in this country. This very country. It's not like it's something that we didn't witness. I've seen the pence, I've seen the shillings, I've seen those kobos. At least I was privileged to meet them. I was privileged to use the 1 kobo and the 2 kobo and the 5 kobo. I used them. I went to school with them. How much did we pay as school fees? My entire boarding house, my highest boarding house, I never paid boarding house fee in a secondary school more than 100 naira. It included my accommodation, my feeding, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Every single day. For a full term. 100 naira was the fee. 100 naira was the fee. So I'm not telling you what we have not experienced. Today, how much do you pay in school? School fees for a small child. How much? Parents can't afford to do that. And somebody will justify that it is not how it is. There is hardship everywhere. Is that what we are asking you? So if people start dying everywhere, we should die also. Citizens should not be turned to slaves. In case one day you become a political leader and they appoint you, you go there. We have some persons here who are, have that aspiration. Some of them are already there in the system. If you get there, know that you are not there to make citizens slaves. How would you call somebody a public servant who has a Pharaoh's mentality? He's called a servant, but his mentality is to torture. His mentality is to humiliate, but does not understand the need to offer services. The moment they have those offices, they are on top of the world. And the people go ahead and give them those privileges. And by thy sword shall thou live. Now, Jacob is saying this to his son Esau, that he's going to live by his sword, and shall serve thy brother, and shall serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass that when thou have dominion, thou shalt break his yoke from off your neck. He says, listen, the whole life is structured. People want to make you slaves to them. The reason your brother is taking your birthright, the reason your brother is tricking you, the reason your brother is pushing to go, is because he wants to become your master and make you the servant. But it's going to be that you will serve this person. This mentality is what is generating the hate. Look at his next verse. We didn't read the next verse on Friday, but look at the next verse, how Esau responded to being Jacob's own servant. The Bible says, and Esau hated Jacob. That's why we have so much tribal hate. This whole struggle for hierarchy and supremacy, that's why we have this problem. And Esau said in his heart, the day of my mourning for my father are at hand, then I will slay my brother Jacob. We have tribes wishing to destroy and eliminate other tribes, and we are pretending to be one. He called him my brother and still said, I will slay him. He didn't say, I will slay my enemy. He pretended that there is unity. He pretended like they were members of one family. But he said to himself, this person is taking all the resources. This person is taking all the advantage. This person is always taking the political position. For this reason, I will deal with this young man. So we have this hate. Every time it comes to an election period, see the way we talk to ourselves. These protests have not even begun. Certain tribes have already begun to lay it on other tribes. They don't care about the reason of the protest, whether it's about hunger. No. They are more interested in the defense of their tribe and the exhibition of their hate towards the other tribe. They are busy throwing banters. Hate blinds people. Hate is wasted energy. The efforts we should put together for something, instead of hating, we are supposed to be working together. We're supposed to be united. But every dialogue, every rhetoric, look at the people that claim to be supporters of the ruling party, always talking about hate, division, tribal talk, all of them, abusing people. Each time they are analyzing the other political person. If you speak a political person, they don't listen to what that person is saying. They first analyze where he comes from. So whatever he said, no matter how intelligent it is, these people have opportunities to do better because they have lots of counsel. In the multitude of counsel, there is safety. But they throw these counsels away because they hate the tribe. They hate your background. They hate where you're coming from. So no matter what you tell them, they don't take it because they don't like you. I have never seen a level of stupidity that high. That you see something that can save your life. You say, no, I won't take it. I will do the opposite because I hate the counselor. I hate the person giving me that advice. For that reason, I will reject it. Pray for this country if you know how to pray. It's not like wisdom is not in this country. It is the hate that has blinded us that we don't take and accept wisdom. We don't. You will go and tell somebody what to do. They will look at you and they say, where do you come from? Why do we have state of origin in almost every form in this country? If the people are telling you that they are hungry, you shouldn't be telling them, shut up, you're not hungry. It doesn't make sense. This protest is not the first time Nigerians have complained that things are getting too expensive. And it is not like the government cannot hear. But once you have bought the media houses will give you news suitable. They've heaped for themselves teachers having itching ears. They don't want to hear what is right. And so they buy the media, and the media's job is publicize news that is acceptable to them. Then how would you find the truth? The media is supposed to report what is going on in the country you are governing, the way it is, so that you can read those news and understand. So he mentioned their core salary and began to mention the allowances that they have. One of those allowances that he mentioned was newspaper allowance. Newspaper allowance of 1 million naira. So you receive 1 million naira as newspaper allowance every month to read what you tell journalists to publish. So for every month, everybody sitting there will get 1 million naira every month, not the salary, the allowance for newspaper. And what is published in those newspapers are what your media sycophants have published. What are you reading from it with 1 million naira? You gave them the news in the first place. Most of the news medians are mouthpieces of the government. Trouble with Esau and Jacob was that concept of slavery, having to find one serve the other. Instead of living as brothers, they created a master-slave situation where Esau has to be a servant and a slave to Jacob. And that was the major problem. If they left it at the level of brother, they won't have problem. Even that birthright will not be a problem to Esau. But that fact that I have to serve this guy and he will take me like his slave is not acceptable. No tribe will want to become a slave to another tribe in this country. And until that mentality is solved, that problem is solved, that everybody is treated equally, we will continue in this jamboree. Our electoral system is not even fair to every tribe in the first instance. It's like some tribes deserve the presidency more than other tribes. And you expect that country to make sense. It doesn't make sense. Once you're unfair, you're unfair. We are exporting our best brains out. Egypt began to see people coming into. Why do you travel to foreign countries? Our political leaders, some Josephs are there developing their countries, building their hospitals. Our political leaders will scrap our hospitals here and go and take treatments abroad. They will scrap our schools and go to the schools that some Josephs out there have made good. Are you getting that? They scrap all our laws here, mess them up, and go and buy lands in the UK. Buy properties for themselves in the UK. They are owning homes and houses in Canada. Why they believe to be governing you here in Nigeria. They can't ask themselves, isn't it human beings like us that are making these countries that we are running to what it is? If there's a Joseph that could grow things in Egypt in famine, why could we not have done the same to have grown something in our own land also? Because they're careless. So everybody can travel and run around. Until the fact that in this generation, the word Japa has become a pride. The average dream of a young man now in Nigeria is how to travel abroad. Biggest dream. How to make the money and then leave this country. Leaving this country is like it's rapture. To an average Nigerian youth, leaving this country is like rapture. Even if they go there and start sweeping floor, leaving this country to them is like rapture. They just leave this country. Why? This is country that other people were desiring to come into. You know how many Ghanaians were coming into Nigeria? How many Africans were coming into Nigeria before you aimed the name Giant of Africa? He that withholdeth corn, the people shall curse him, but blessings shall be upon the head of him that selleth it. Inflation is not a blessing. Making things too expensive for people that they cannot buy it is not a blessing. Raising the prices of things, food, becoming too expensive for the average Nigerian to see and buy is not a blessing. Having biscuits that are costlier than what they were before, but they weigh nothing. Biscuits in Nigeria now don't have weight. They have technologies to inflate the sizes of bread instead of bettering the quality of bread. This is what an average Nigerian will eat in the morning and go to work and stay all day. Nobody, no political leader should pretend like this is okay. It is not acceptable. It is not acceptable. Charge too much for grain and you will be cursed. Sell it at a fair price and you will be praised. Everybody will tell you that dollar has gone up. Every time dollar goes up, their price go up. Every time dollar comes down, their price don't come down. The system is wired up to cheat. Everybody's glorifying corruption. Everyone wants to exploit the other. A slight advantage, your price is up. And once it goes up, it stays there. Why is it that Nigeria is one of the countries in which prices hardly come down? Petrol price hardly comes down. Diesel price hardly comes down. Taxes hardly come down. Tariff hardly comes down. Nothing comes down in this country. It's always an upward trajectory. Look at how much you are paying for electric bill. To make it look like they are giving you convenience, they split it from band A, band. What kind of band? Which kind of country is supplying electricity to people in band, classifying people in grades and level? Why would some Nigerians be of greater value than other Nigerians? So you mean there are some Nigerians that qualify for 24-hour power supply, some don't qualify? So then now in Nigeria, there is an Egypt, there is a Goshen. Goshen must have band. Goshen is the band A. So every one of us who are not in Goshen now, we should be waiting for the plague. What do you mean by band A, band B, band C, band D? When the nation is supposed to be having 24-hour power supply everywhere. Other countries are. Listen, I was watching a video. I posted a video today of Singapore. Singapore does not even have trash. When they gather trash, they take trash and they burn trash. The heat in which they use in burning the trash, they use the heat to generate electricity. Nigeria, we are dumping our own refugees on the road inside the gutter. The government does not know. Another country is using the refuse of their citizens. And then they treat the smoke that comes out of the burning. The smoke comes out clean. And then the ashes, they take the ashes over to a desert place and convert the ashes into bricks. The trash is generating electricity. Our country is here with a dam and all of the resources, with all of the gas we have around. And they are classifying us as band A, band C, band D. They clap for themselves. That they have tried. It was worse. At least they have tried. I don't praise nonsense. Charge too much for grain. Charge too much for electricity. Charge too much for anything you're offering to people in this place. And the Bible says the people will curse you. And you will be cursed. Think it's by raising price that we get blessed. We don't get blessed as a nation by, exploiting people. If you're wise, any nation that is wise will learn to not take too much as taxes. Take fair tax. You don't take too much as taxes. I mentioned to you people on Friday here how some places like Dubai creates tax-free zones so that people will be able to come and create investments. Countries like Singapore will allow you to open businesses with ease. This one will plague you. They will plague you. You will pay tax to the federal government. And while they know that you are paying tax to the federal government, to FIRS, they will still send the state tax revenue service to come to your office. While you're paying that one and the rest, you're paying multiple taxation to the federal government, to multiple agencies of government. Duplicated agencies of government with people doing absolutely nothing. A small business with small resources that have not been able to stand. Before that person is able to do business in this country, he will receive certificate from this, approval from this, qualification from this, payment from this, levies from this. You go to a business wall. Come to our office, for example, you see the whole wall full with papers of approval and certificate for people who are not adding a single value to what we are doing. When the employer has paid all that, community will still come. This employer has workers and staff he will pay at the end of the day. When it remains almost nothing in the employer's hand and the salary is so small, people will say, our salary is supposed to be more than that. At the same time you're paying, that community is coming to the same employer. The community will come. Different kinds of community will come. Different groups will come. And the ones who are coming to come and take your land back are also coming with their bulldozers. And the government does nothing to protect your business. Countries who want to build their economy, when they see businesses like that open, they do all they can to secure those businesses because those businesses create employment. Government cannot employ all Nigerians. It is creating the enabling environment for these businesses to strive, and these businessmen will be able to employ Nigerians. One successful business can employ 20 or 30, and now one will. So any government coming to you and say they will create 5,000 jobs, they are liars. Where are they creating the job for? In NNPC, where they have filled their children all over in the big offices, till they do the top level employment. How they employ the managers in NNPC, do you know? Did you hear about it when they were doing that? You see, now they are beginning to put adverts because people have been asking the question. Even with those adverts, it's all show. What vacancy are they doing the ads for? What vacancy? NNPC doesn't even need those kind of vacancy and ads. Because a corporation like NNPC has details of graduates coming out of Nigerian universities. They know those who are coming up at top level grades. And if they need them, engineering students, they can simply get to the universities and give us A, B, C, D persons that score this level. Have you ever seen them do that? The graduates coming out of the universities will come out and then become conductors in buses. I'm not just complaining, I'm telling you the truth here. Taxes upon taxes upon taxes. At the end of the day, you have nothing. Multiple taxations. Agencies that should have been collapsed into one. Papers that you were renewing once for your car. They say now you have to renew it yearly. They will come up with new design of license plate and force everybody to have it. The new design of driver's license and force everybody to have it. The new design of this and will force everybody to have it. Why do we need all this redesigning? In a short while, they will tell you that they will change license plates in cars. When we got this license plates we are using in our car, we were told it was digital. This flat iron, that the color is fading, they said it was digital. We asked, explain how it is digital. They couldn't say, but it was a digital license plate. That Proverbs 11, verse 26, the easy English Bible says, a man may want to keep the seeds that people can eat from, the plants in his field. He wants to keep it. This is the field. This is the country. This man wants to keep it all. He said people will speak bad words against him if he is waiting to get more money. He keeps it. He wants to get more money. He wants to take more things from the people. And so he deprives the people from what they should have access to. He said people will not say good things about that man. These are some of the things that our leaders are doing. Why are our roads not tarred? Why do we have leaders who are not interested in us having good roads, but they will go and build houses in the cities and go to Lagos and Abuja and go and enjoy good roads there and leave the roads in their own community abandoned? The small announcement of scarcity in this country, they stop selling. Then you will see people, boys, selling petrols in front of petrol stations in Cannes. Petrol in the station will be 800 naira, 900 naira. They will stop selling. And they will sell to boys. They will hoard it and sell to boys in the black market that will now start selling it at 1,300 naira. What are you really gaining from doing all of this to your fellow citizen? What does it? That's wickedness. It's wickedness. It's not just about government. The country is just wired to torture people. See what the Good News translation said of that same Proverbs 11:26. Good news. People curse someone who hoards grain, waiting for a higher price. But they praise the one who puts it up for sale. Say people will curse the one who hoards it. Why is he hoarding it? He's waiting for a higher price. He hoards it. He doesn't want to sell it because he wants to sell it at a higher price. That's the devil at work. These are what Nigerians are doing to fellow Nigerians here. Greed is ruining this system. Greed is ruining our progress in this country. Greed. Politicians want to grab as much as they can grab for themselves, their family, and the generations after them. They want to build all those houses for their children across all the countries in the world so that their families will never suffer. They will never suffer. When they come into political offices and the rest, they must gather as much wealth as they can because that is their opportunity. Anybody who goes into politics and becomes a millionaire is a thief. In fact, when you get into real politics, you spend your own money if you're really going there to serve. If you go into politics and you become richer than you went in there, you stole money. The speaker was mentioning something. He said it was, every one of them want to tell us what their salary is, but they don't want to tell us their allowances. So they said their salary is 500,000. And then they corrected him. Honorable sir, please, our salary is 600,000. Then the man paused and said, I've always been getting 500,000. What is he trying to say? That even he who is in the house, somebody has been collecting 100,000 naira of his money. So even up to that level, somebody is doing something to somebody. This is just embarrassing. And this is the country where even the Senate president could not pronounce the figure of an amount of money that he was approving, but can tell us that he will be eating while our children are protesting. But he can't pronounce figure of an amount of money he is approving, but he can be eating while we are protesting. The tariffs are too high. The electric bills are too high. If you know your politicians and you belong to a political party, tell them the truth. These tariffs are too high. The taxes are too much. The burdens on the people are excessive. There is no pretense about it. The cost of food is high. Some of them later when they come to hear me speak this now, they will say this pastor does not like the government. Do I look like a hypocrite to you? If I give you poison, will you like it? People curse the man who holds his grain for higher price. They curse the man who holds his grain for what? For higher price. People need power. People need electricity. You said before they get it, they have to be in band A every single time. For the past couple of years, most of the time we're in service here is generator. Yet our unit is running like crazy. So what band are we in? Hardly ever see power here to do a service. But we are recharging prepaid meter on a regular. What What kind of ban? Is it like ban crazy? Is there a ban crazy? Because this is really crazy. I told the government will not help you. I said, get up and go and dust your visions and your mission. Dust those things, those plans and those purposes that you've had. Dust them, clean them up. Work very hard because you're the only one who will help yourself in this situation. Is somebody with me? You're the one who will help yourself. Depending too much on government will make you slaves to politicians. They will turn you around and wipe you on the floor however they want. Don't put yourself in that mess. Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't hand yourself over to politicians who wipe you all over the floor. There are boys now that the only way they can eat is by acting as thugs for politicians. They are ready to kill their fellow Nigerians, beat their fellow Nigerians, injure their fellow Nigerians because that is what they will survive with. Are you not seeing them? Receiving 2,000 naira to go and protest against protest. That you are saying no protest, but what you're doing is a protest. You are literally protesting against people protesting. So you say no protest. So when they write the thing and they give you and say no protest, intelligently you would have asked them, but are we not going to protest? They are telling you that in the placard, no protest. That protest, you don't want protest in your country, you are against protest. But they are loading you in buses to the streets to go and protest that there should be no protest. And then they give you 2K, give 5K, give a government, look at the government running by giving people palliatives. How many days will 5K take you? Somebody is talking about hunger. It's everywhere. You collect 5K to go and stop the person from saying there is hunger. Do something about the hunger because of the 5K. Will the 5K take you 2 days? A basin of Gary now. Let's look at this. Let's run through this account of Joseph very quickly, because this is about the last account we'll run through. But let's just run through this because it's very important. Genesis 47, from verse 13 to 26. We'll run through it. And there was no bread. This is Nigeria. This is like Nigeria. This is it. There was no bread in all the land. For the famine, we are literally in famine now. For the famine was very sore, so that the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine. The famine was so much that they fainted because of the famine. They broke down, the hardship, the hunger. See the people who are protesting. Look at the video. Listen to what they are saying. Some people don't have food to eat. I posted a video of a young man who said that many times he runs a school. Children come to his school. Every single time now you ask them, where is your lunch? They will say, there is no food, no money. There is no food. Children will go to school now. They cannot carry lunch to school. Parents can't afford to give the extra food for them to go to school. Did you eat before coming to school? The child will tell him no, that they have not eaten. This one have not eaten. And the rest, he's running a school. He said he has reduced school fees. He has removed money. He has reduced it to the level that upon the point that he has reduced it, parents still cannot pay. We can't pretend that there is no famine out there. But the money goes to the elites. The elites are taking the money. The elites are having fat bank accounts. The elites, there is money in this country. If the poor is not having the money, somebody is having that money. In verse 14, Joseph the politician gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn which they bought, and Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. There is famine. People are hungry. The political leader who has been appointed by Pharaoh to govern, what was he doing? I know you won't answer me because I'm now talking about Joseph. You know, I'm used to talking about Joseph in a good way. Now I'm calling him a political leader because all these people who are ruling us in Nigeria, a lot of them are religious people. They go to churches, gathered all the money from hungry people and took it to a Pharaoh that was not starving. Increases Pharaoh's own resources. Pharaoh gets richer at the expense of the people. He was collecting this thing and he was taking it to Pharaoh. When they were coming to power, what did they tell you? That they will reduce the purchasing power of the people. Yours truly, your purchasing power is down. When minimum wage was 30,000 naira, you can buy more things. Minimum wage is about to be moved to 70,000 naira, which has not been implemented yet, but has been signed. But even if it is, your minimum wage is not up to $50. You will see how they are going to increase your taxes and your levy. After all, we have increased your salary. And they will pack all this money and they will give it to Pharaoh. Pharaoh gets richer. When money loses value, people start begging. When money loses value, people become hungry. Prayer for our nation is that God will save the poor. Because so many persons, as I talk to you today, don't know what their next meal will be. In verse 15, when the money failed, you see that as this money was moving from the people to Pharaoh, what happened to the state of the money? It lost value. Taking money from the people, more taxes on the people, and giving them to Pharaoh, the money itself began to, Bible says, and when money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came to Joseph and said, give us bread. This is them coming to him and say, give us bread. For why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth. Money has no value. We have the money. You have 50K. You go to the market. What do you bring back? Teaching you this because tomorrow when you become tomorrow's leader, don't torture people. Don't make life unbearable for people. Bag of rice with stones now costs more than the quality rice of 8K before. Are we normal? The money has lost value. Money has failed. So when the government takes more from people with nothing, they create more problem. The government is taking. It takes from people that have nothing. Taking. More levy, more taxes, increase the tariff, more levy, and all that. Look at verse 16. And Joseph said, these are people, they came to Joseph and they cried to Joseph, there is no bread, we are hungry. And Joseph listened to them. I'm working for the government of Egypt. If you have no bread to eat, give me your cattle. And I will give you for your cattle if your money has no value. Give me your cattle. Bring goods from Kanu to this place and the rest. You will pay. What these truck drivers go through on the road, by the time those goods come from the north and reach here, the price. And the government is aware all these things are happening. You're still depending on government. Forget these people. They don't have your best interest at heart. And start working something for yourself. The question I ask myself is, why would anybody who has a cattle be waiting for the government to give him food? That's why the government is taking advantage of you. These people had cattle. So Joseph knows that they have cattle. You don't have agricultural produce, but you have meat. They say, take cattle, give us food to eat. Hunger can blind you. Hunger creates mumurity. Hunger can make you sell a property that has value. A hungry man can carry his car and sell at a price that does not make sense. After he has finished eating, he will not say how much I sell him. When Esau was hungry, that was when Jacob showed up. He said, can I have a plate of food? Give me your birthright. Hunger. Verse 17 says, and they brought their cattle unto Joseph. And Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses, bread. If I catch you in this church, that you are leaving your skills and your potentials and your capacity and looking for palliative, let me catch you in this place that you're going to line up where they are sharing palliative. Your destiny you want to trade for nonsense. Now what they are giving to every one of you, palliative. The fact that you are distributing rice for everything, go and protest rice. Government do so on rice. We don't have light, they share rice. Everywhere they go, they are sharing rice. Everything is rice. Everything is rice. Solution to every problem is palliative. They carry their horses. Look at them. Horses. And for the flocks. And for the cattle of the herds. And for the asses. And they fed them with bread. For all their cattle for that year. Uncle, bring bread. It's a never-ending cycle of blind hunger. Wait. Tell yourself, I won't live on stipends. Tell yourself, I won't live on stipends. God forbid, you will not survive by government handouts. They came unto him the second year. So that first year, they have given everything that they had in terms of livestock, and they were now eating bread as palliatives. So that year finished. The second year they came, and they said unto him, we will not hide it from my Lord, how that our money is spent. My Lord also had our heads of cattle. You have collected our heads of cattle. So there is not aught left in the sight of my Lord, but our bodies and our land. Now they said, the only thing we have now as property, our bodies and our land. Why they keep people hungry? Because hunger is the only way they can buy people. Our political leaders have become the owners of the institutions and almost every sectors of the country by hunger. Everybody wants to eat. And so this thing called hunger has been weaponized. This thing called hunger, our politicians, they have taken ownership of our institutions. This thing called hunger has been weaponized. Do you think if there was no hunger, any politician can come and carry other people's children to go and start carrying ballot boxes? Why should anybody do that? Say, for example, we are 1,000 of us in this place, well-to-do, drive our car, we have food to eat. Will any politician come to us and say, come and snatch ballot box when my survival does not depend on? Would that not sound like an insult? Hunger is the core weapon. Our legal institution has been taken over. The lawyers now, they speak in the direction of money. It is the highest payer that they respond to. Speak in the direction of money. Everybody's hungry. The ones who now pays the piper decides the tune. The media, the publications in the direction of money. All of them. So when the people are hungry, it's easier to gather people's children and say, go and scatter protesters. How much, sir? 5K. Wow. 5,000. 5,000. For people who haven't seen 500 naira for the past 2 to 3 weeks, give us stick. We can even break their head for 5,000 naira. I said you can never be thugs in this place. They won't buy you. They won't own you. They won't buy you. In verse 19 it says, wherefore shall we die before thine eye, both we and our land? Buy us. What did they say? Buy us. We are hungry, so buy us. Police will say to them, buy us. Soldiers will say what? Buy us. Thugs will say what? Buy us. The ministers, all of them, buy us. Even the opposition party that are supposed to be opposing the bad policies, also buy us. Don't worry, I will scatter our parties on your behalf. Anything you want, I can scatter them. Just buy us, pay me. They went to him and they said, buy us and our land for bread, for food, buy us and our land, and we and our land will be servants. So you see where the servitude begins now. First, they had to be very hungry. Joseph didn't have to force them. Joseph didn't have to compel them. He just took what they had. Take their money first. They started taking their properties. Then now had to buy them. Gradually is bringing them into slavery. Now the political class controls people. So we will become servants unto Pharaoh. And then give us seed that we may live and not die, that our land be not desolate. Today, as I tell you now, it is the poor that is fighting the poor on behalf of the elites and on behalf of those who are exploiting them. So when the poor goes on the street and say we are hungry, the rich don't go to challenge the poor. The rich comes to another group of hungry poor and say, we own you and your survival is dependent on us because you have nothing. Go on social media and insult them. You see them on suit. They can't survive without politics. That's why they can dwell on social media 24 hours abusing and insulting people, because that's their livelihood. If they don't do it, they will lose. That's why they are ready to do it with passion, powered by hunger. And Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh. So Pharaoh just sits somewhere. Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh. For the Egyptians sold every man his field, because the famine prevailed over them, so the land became Pharaoh. Because the famine prevailed, the land became Pharaoh's. They know the reason why their citizens should be poor. They know the reasons why they ignore your roads. It's not like there is no money to make these roads. But do you want to rub shoulder with them? When they travel abroad and they drive in smooth roads, you stay in Nigeria and drive in smooth roads. Are you their mate? That's their mentality. It's like you have no right to a better life. You have no right to a good hospital. Imagine them going to the airport and they are walking to a plane and you are walking with them. They feel like, who is this? It's not like there's no money to do these roads. There are. But there has to be class difference. So that when they come into a place, they can splash water on everybody and blow siren and push you out of the road. And as for the people, Joseph removed them to the cities from one end of the border of Egypt even to the other end thereof. He packed them like scrap metals from the reasonable part of the city and pushed them to the undeveloped part of the city. They are now Pharaoh's property. In this life, you will never become somebody's property. They just bring the bulldozer. When they want to bulldoze this place now, they don't bulldoze it like there is any law on your side that favors you. They will just grind the whole building down. So how favored or how connected are you? May God exalt you in this life. We are people of faith. We are royal priesthood. I'm connected to God. I can't depend on them. He said, only the land of the priests bought he not. Only the land of the priests bought he not. For the priests had a portion assigned them of Pharaoh. And he did eat their portion with Pharaoh, which Pharaoh gave them. Wherefore, they sold not their land. The Bible tells us that you are a royal priesthood. That's why the world is angry with the church. You said that everything is collapsing. The pastor will enter his plane and fly. Churches are building. You go on social media, they will go and show. Now they are now showing you pictures of church, and then they show a bad school. I ask them, so tithes can build this and taxes build this. You are looking at the fact that there are people who are working with a covenant beyond your covenant. The princes didn't sell their land. The princes didn't sell themselves out. He said that thing that Pharaoh claimed to have, that the priest had a portion, the riches of the Gentiles is commanding them to you. Every average thinking person will go out there and they will become useless. Don't let anybody rubbish you. They were the people called the priests. And as long as the priests were concerned, you don't touch our land. We are connected to a higher power. We don't survive with your bread. So see this land, you aren't taking it. There are people in this country that don't give up. There are people that will not sell out. And they will still make it in this nation. See that job you have. Hold on to it. You are a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar person. So the priests did not sell their land. Then Joseph said unto the people, behold, I have bought you this day and your land for Pharaoh. I have bought you. They are all answerable to the person who has bought them. Lo, here is seed for you, and you shall sow it. So take. He's giving them seed during famine. So seed is still growing. So you mean that seed is still growing? This is 7 years of famine, not the 7 years of plenty. Now he comes around and he says, take seed, go and start planting. Planting in the 7 years of famine. You bought us so that you can give us bread. And it shall come to pass in the increase when this thing I'm giving you to plant begins to grow. So anytime it increases, you shall give the 5th part unto Pharaoh, and the 4th shall be your own. For seed of the field, and for your food, and for your household, and for your food for your little ones. I'm going to give you a chance to reestablish your life. The mistake you made was that you didn't understand investment. But I'm going to give you this seed. Go and plant it. If it happens to grow, he said, whenever there is increase, you will take out of it and divide it into 5 places. 4 portions is your own. 1/5 is the taxes now that you will now pay to Pharaoh. Now, everything that comes out of the proceeds from that 4, use that one. Take care of your own household. Take care of your children. Feed yourself. And he gave them opportunity for investments. Knowing very well that you can't build a nation by simply enslaving all your citizens. He had to return and say, let's take a different strategy now. Why don't I just, instead of continuing to give you bread and give you palliative and share indomie and share yam, why don't I give you a seed? I know it's famine. It's hard. But if you happen to have harvest, you just pay your tax out of it and you can be resourceful. The people he's talking to here now are people who once had cattle and horses and this thing, to which Mumu made them sell it. It's the same person Joseph is coming to teach them that they should have invested. And they said, thou hast saved our lives. This man, see that? They just give you small thing now. Thou hast said, this is the man who have collected your land, your food, your children, your horses. Now he has given you small loan. You said, thou hast saved our lives. Let us find grace in your sight, my Lord, and we will be Pharaoh's servants. See the mentality? They have successfully given them the slave mentality. Now they are the ones professing it. They will envy you. I said the world will envy you. Isaac sowed during famine, and the people envied him. They say religious people, everybody is criticizing religious people. You can't do anything about the wealth that is coming to the church. Did you hear that? They can't stop it. Wealth will come to the church. God is not unrighteous to forget your labor of love. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and thou shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt break loose. You will continue to serve him. You continue to be like a servant to him. But the time will come when you will break loose. He said, thou shalt shake his yoke from off your neck. Tell somebody, break loose. Change that mentality. You're not a slave. God has made you a kingdom citizen for something. Increase your capacity and ability. Anything you can do now, do more. Increase what God has given you to do. Joseph knew that irrespective of the fact that it was famine, if you have a seed, it will grow. So he gave them a seed. Your capacity has to increase. By your sword, you will get your living, and you will be your brother's servant. But when your power is increased, did you see that? When your power is increased, his yoke shall be broken from off your neck. Increase your power, your authority, and your mandate. Be like the priest. This my land is not for sale. Be like that. I stand firm in the faith of our Lord Jesus Christ. Become uncomfortable with poverty. All this, give me bread, give me bread, give me bread, give us this, give me 2K, urgent 2K. Clean that kind of mentality off your mind. You are not expected to live with urgent 2K. You are on social media shouting, please do giveaway. Every 2 for 2 giveaway. That's why they are messing up with us. Our youths are everywhere. Post a giveaway. Go to anywhere they're doing giveaway. See all of them dropping account numbers as if it is rain falling. Everywhere. You will live by your sword. You will serve your brother. But when you grow restless, when you are tired of this nonsense, when you become fed up, you will tear away his harness from your neck, controlling you, domineering you. You're almost living like you are going to be impoverished. But listen, he has taken the blessing. He has become the master. He's going to be ruling over you. But the time will come when you become restless, tired, can't take this anymore. How can Joseph be more than me? We are brothers. I'm supposed to be a senior. I'm a priest. So you will break that yoke. Nigerians have to come to a time when they become restless. Not all these partial protests that some people will do. Some people will protest against the protest. When we become tired, when the citizens wake up, are you hearing me? Nothing will stop this country from changing. I'm not talking about violence, going to be breaking slap. People are going to break people's shop. How can you be protesting and entering the shop of somebody else who is struggling like you? I'm not talking about destroying infrastructure and scattering things around and scattering them and knocking them on the floor. No! Don't be bound by your hunger. You will live by the power of your sword and be your brother's slave, God forbid. And be what? Your brother's slave. But when you decide to be free, when you decide, it's you. When you decide, the day you say enough is enough, when you decide to be free, you will break loose. Did somebody hear that? When you decide, you will break loose. Take control of your life. Stop becoming one of those persons that want free money, loan, dash. Money comes, you waste it. They will mess you up. And by thy sword, thou dost live, and thy brother dost thou serve. And it shall come to pass, when thou rulest, that thou hast broken his yoke from him. Say, when you rule, that means that he doesn't need to give you the power. When you rule, when you become aware of the fact that you are in a place of leadership yourself, when you give yourself that manager's mentality, you become a manager. When you rule, when you carry the mentality of a millionaire, you will reach there. Stop begging for everything. That's why they are insulting you everywhere. That's why they are looking down at you. That's why when you qualify for something, they'll say, forget that one. We don't need purpose in this place. Please, can you recommend somebody else? Because you beg too much. When you are ruling, you become part of the ruling class. You make yourself part of the ruling class. Stop being the pauper among the princes. Poverty should not mock you. Turn to somebody and say, poverty will not mock you. In order to bribe Esau, he lined up things, goods, cattle, his children, wife, all of that. He sent them ahead. And Esau just walked past them. When he came to Jacob, he said, what meanest thou by all these droves which I met? These are to find grace in the sight of my Lord. And Esau said, Esau that was thinking he was cursed, Esau that was crying that he lost a birthright, Esau that said the only solution in his life is to kill Jacob. Esau said, I have enough, my brother. So that brother, he still called him brother, but this time around, instead of slaying him, he said, my brother, I have what? Enough. Keep that thou hast to thyself. Esau said, I have plenty, my brother. Keep what you have for yourself. Can I hear somebody say, I have plenty? I speak upon your life that plenty will be your portion. He said, honor the Lord with thy substance and with the first fruits of your increase. And then what? Your barn shall be overflow with what? Plenty is coming to your life. In the mighty name of Jesus. I want to tell you, you will not live on handouts and palliatives. Palliative is a mockery to God's people. Palliative is a shame. Nigerians are not supposed to live and survive on handouts. You will not survive with palliatives in Jesus' name. And Esau said, you don't have to give me gifts, brother. I have enough for myself. You don't have to give me gifts. I have enough for myself. You will not live and survive with palliatives. Palliative is a mockery. You are a kingdom person, a child of God. Esau said, oh, my brother, I have plenty of everything. Keep what is yours for yourself. Your own is your own. I have plenty of everything. Can I hear somebody say everything? You will have plenty of everything. Everything you need for your wedding, you will have plenty of it. Everything you need to run your family, you will have plenty of it. Everything you need for your project, you will have plenty of it. What you need for your business, you will have plenty of it. Oh, my brother, calm down. But Esau, were you not cursed? I think I stole your blessing. You don't understand. Daddy said that you will go with the blessing. He said I was going to serve you. But don't forget that he said that when I am tired of your nonsense, when I'm tired of looking at myself as a slave and you as the big guy, that your nonsense will stop. See, the point is, if I say I'm cursed, I'm cursed. If I say I'm not cursed, I'm not cursed. If I spend time trying to kill you, then I'm like a cursed man. But I've just realized that instead of worrying myself about you, I work on who I am. By the time I am meeting you, I knew I was going to have more than you can show. See what you are sampling. I said, keep that one to yourself. They are too small. Everything you think of, I have plenty of them. Your plenty will begin now. He says, and Esau said, I already have plenty. Already. That means as I'm talking to you now, your plenty is starting now. I already have. You will not live your life envying the rich, because you will be the rich. And Esau said, I have abundance, my brother. Let it be to thyself that which thou hast. Keep whatever you have to yourself. I have abundance. You know the meaning of abundance? The thief cometh not but to steal and to kill and to destroy. But I am come that he may have life and have it what? More abundantly. The priests don't sell out. Your crying days are over. Your sorrowful days are over. Your mourning days are over. Your weeping days are over. Shout amen, somebody. Brother, I have plenty. Esau laughed. Keep what you have. Esau was crying before. But the Bible says, I have plenty. Esau laughed. So you thought I was broke? I can't be broke. I can't be broke. The Bible says, Esau laughed. May laughter come to you. Amen. May you find reasons to laugh. Amen. May you have genuine reason to laugh. In the name of Jesus. Amen. The nonsense will stop when citizens wake. The rubbish will stop. The rubbish will end when citizens wake.